No, you carry a card that directly counters their setup, and if that's the best setup in the game, and you have to sacrifice parts of your deck to prepare for it, then fair enough, right? Like, yo, what is up, guys? It is Lost Griff. Welcome back to another video. Now, first of all, before I even start with the topic of today's video, I just want to start, bro. Look at how hot my Death Wizard is. Like, oh my god, bro. He's so clean, dude. Anyway, so, yeah, no, I just wanted to talk today about my opinion on if Ward should be in the game and if it's healthy for the game state. Now, if you guys don't know, the new Merciless gear, I would look and show you guys what I mean. But the new Merciless gear has basically made it so there's no point in, like, going for damage or resist when you can just ward. Why is it not letting me walk? There's not really a point in going for damage or resist right now, simply because of the fact that, like, if you go for damage or resist, like, you're gonna get affected by the intersect. Of course, it's better to go for resist, but damage especially, people will give up, you know, people will give up their giver talent for a ward, or people will give up their, you know, mighty for a ward or whatever, right? And so we've gotten this, like, kind of, like, you know, pattern where we see people give up, like, so many different, like, stats in order to be able to prepare and win against the best school in the game. Like, last meta with Wraith, everybody was running Death Ward. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And whenever Mana Burn was meta, everybody was running Bounce Ward. And even the schools that countered Bounce were running Bounce Ward because they would ward, right? It's like a circular cycle that is honestly not very, like, healthy for the game, in my opinion. I'll explain why. So, first of all, if you compare Wizard101 to every other card game, they're very different, right? So, it's not fair for me to just say, oh, this game doesn't have this because, you know, they're better and whatever, and that's why. But, like, I should actually give, you know, the examples and analogies and explain the differences while also making them valid. Like, for example, whenever I say that there's no such thing in Clash Royale as carrying P.E.K.K.A. Ward, where whenever a P.E.K.K.A. swings at your, like, tower or whatever, if you play Clash Royale, you're not going to take half the damage because you're, like, warded to them or something, right? No, you carry a card that directly counters their setup, and if that's the best setup in the game, and you have to sacrifice parts of your deck to prepare for it, then fair enough, right? Like, for example, if Blade Stack Storm is meta, right, and I need to carry Earthquakes and Putrefactions, then so be it, right? And if I want to just take that loss and accept my loss of that matchup, then fair enough. But I should be adequately preparing my deck, not my stats. Well, I mean, well, stats are a facet to it, right? I feel like 15% or 17% is too much. Like, literally, look at the fact that I can run this pet and then have automatically 17% more resistance to the school I'm playing against if I'm running Mighty, on top of the proof and defy that get buffed with it, meaning that they'll literally hit me and it'll tickle me, dude. Like, it won't do anything. So whenever schools like Fire or Storm become meta and people start warding to them, right, then immediately you see problems where Storm no longer really does any damage, and their school identity kind of gets lost because everybody wants to ward to them. And don't get me wrong, I hate whenever schools are, like, ridiculously broken as the next guy. Like, I hate that. But at the same time, why are we able to basically get a talent that makes us automatically win our matchup against the school? Yo, I just wanted to stop the video real quick to make sure that you are subscribed to the Lost Griff channel. I upload almost every single day, and I try to stay as active as I can on my YouTube. So I'd appreciate if you guys dropped a sub, because only this amount of people are actually subscribed to my channel. So real quick, before this intermission ends, I'd appreciate if you guys go drop a sub real quick. Anyway, back to the video. You know what I mean? Like, completely refutes the point of even playing that school, because you know that 90% of the games you'll play, you'll just play against someone who you have to strike against every 5 seconds to even do any damage, right? And don't get me wrong, like, I want to put another side to this argument. I'm totally cool with proof being in the game. If proof, like, for example, if fireproof, balance proof, death proof, etc. can be in the game, so you have an extra 10% resist, you know what? I don't mind that. If you need that extra help to win that matchup, sure, because that still gives the enemy person a chance to win. But don't tell me that I should be able to run 17% extra resist to a school, which basically is literally just like a compensation for someone's lack of their own skill. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I think Ward is, like, I understand the point of it. I understand that it's in the game so that they can counter the schools that are the best and in meta. But I just don't think it's healthy for the game, and I think it creates a pattern where people can drop two of their talents and just double ward to the best schools in the game. Like, for example, right now where Storm and, like, arguably Balance or Death or whatever are the best schools, people are just going to ward to Storm, Balance, or Storm and, what's it called? Storm and whatever people consider to be the best, because, I mean, still that's up in the air, but you know what I mean. Obviously, Storm is the best. Nobody can really argue on that, or at least top two. So everybody's going to be warding to Storm, and Storm's going to lose their school identity, unfortunately, because they're going to have to literally hit through 89 res without any sort of, like, opportunity to switch up for that, right? And also this creates an issue where so much for the Rochambeau, right? Because every single like school, like for example, Fire is just gonna be warding to their enemy Rochambeau school. They're gonna get that extra 17 resist, and they won't lose to their school because they can run ward. And Storm doesn't want to run ward to Fire because they already win the matchup. So it'll create a dynamic where not only does Fire have slightly better stats than Storm, but they also get 17 more resist for just 6 damage, and arguably 4 or 3 through the intersect, right? So overall, I don't think ward is healthy at all for the game. If you want to argue that proof is healthy for the game, I'm fine with that. Or if you want to argue that resist intersection could be another way to fix that, or making the resist intersection actually work properly fixes it, then fine. I'm cool with that argument as well. But as it stands, ward and the concept of it and what it does to the game isn't healthy, right? It doesn't create a healthy atmosphere, right? And understand the fact that there are hundreds of cards in this game, right? There are spells that directly counter schools like Storm. Like, if you're losing to Storm constantly, run 80 Storm Shields. Run 80 Storm Shields, or, like, run some cards that directly counter Storm. You know what I mean? And if that doesn't work, then they'll get nerfed. It's that simple, right? Like, the cycle of having to ward and create new pets every single time, like a game of cat and mouse, every single time that the new school's meta, it's honestly super unfun and just not healthy for the game. And I think everybody in the comments can agree with me how frustrating it is when people have like wards from like 3 metas ago that they're running still because it's their only working pet. And so there was like, I remember last meta, Polymorph Bandit was telling me about how there was literal fires running Myth ward when Myth was the best school like 3 metas ago, dude. Like, it's dumb and it's not fair, and I think that players should be encouraged to get better instead of just losing to their matchup, or losing to the same matchup every single time because they refuse to improve besides making a pet that just makes them auto-win every single time. That's just my take on ward talents. I don't think they're healthy for the game. I think they need to be removed, and if you want to argue that proof is a better solution to it, and if you want to argue that resist intersect being fixed is a better solution to it, then fine, I'm cool with that too. I just think nobody should be getting an extra 17 resist to a school just because they can't beat them because they refuse to improve. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave some suggestions in the comments below. I'm not always right, but this has just always been my personal take ever since, you know, maybe almost 2 years ago. I've always thought ward was not very healthy for the game, and it sucks that you're kind of like forced to run it in certain scenarios. So I just hope that something healthy comes around in the next few, you know, weeks or months to kind of counteract how ward benefits players, because I don't think it's healthy. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, leave your suggestions in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.